try to seduce and lure young girls into being sexually exploited, I realised how immediate, how necessary it was that we should act in a proper way. And that's why I pay tribute to all the agencies involved, not just SEAL, but also the agencies, the police, social services and others who now, I think for the first time, have woken up to the importance of dealing with this very important crime. And I want to pay tribute to this organisation for the work that it has done over the years. I can say to you that when the MCB speaks, people listen, those in government and in opposition.
When I read names like Bilal and Mohammed and Assad in these cases, my stomach churns. I feel like being sick. We are Muslims of Britain. We're not in Britain. We're not somehow an attachment. We're part and parcel of this country, the good, the bad and the ugly. And we need to do and show leadership at times like this.
It's not passion and commitment alone that's going to make this impact. It's going to require a huge amount of effort from all of us, because we, as was said earlier by Julie, we are all of Britain, not just in Britain. So we're going to all hopefully play a role which will add value and which will help make Great Britain even greater.
We see lots and lots of difficult situations that we try to help, and it's not just Muslims that are suffering difficulties in parenting, as we were mentioned already, it's affecting all communities. Grooming is affecting everybody. We as Muslims need to take a step forward and see what are we going to do, how are we going to be affected in this. And there's a lot of good organisations here today that are involved in that.
As a manager, I have the honour and privilege to be able to make decisions on commissioning of services. It is important that decisive decisions and actions are taken to recognise signs of grooming, to forge vital links in the community between partner agencies, and to ensure a multidisciplinary and multi-agency approach is taken to safeguard all children in our communities. Because when it comes to social work, it should be that every child matters. I recognise reading the reports that hasn't always been done across the country.
What is wrong has to be condemned as wrong. And there seems to be a reluctance on the part of some of our Muslim communities, perhaps a misunderstanding. The problem is not the Muslims. The problem is not Islam. The problem is child sexual exploitation. That's why we're here today. This is a huge encouragement for the Muslims of the United Kingdom, that we have people who will join hands with us. We have people who will embrace us as partners in this endeavour to rid this menace of our society.
There's a number of research projects that show that young people are recycling violence, emotional abuse, sexual violence in their intimate relationships. They are learning about sex and relationships not from their leaders, not from their communities, not even from their parents or their teachers. They are learning about sex and relationships from the internet. Young men in particular are accessing porn sites and learning and normalising sexual violence as a norm within their relationships.
We did a huge data trawl across the country, gathering evidence from the police, from government, from local authorities, from safeguarding boards, from sexual health clinics, for example, and identified that there were just over 16,500 children across England who show at least 3 of the warning signs of children who are at high risk. It was not possible for us to say that there is indeed a so-called disproportionality. The only thing we can say with absolute certainty is that the offenders come from all ethnic groups and all parts of our society.
But what concerns me is the fact that since January last year, when the Times started running articles about grooming, it's been seen as almost exclusively an Asian or Pakistani or Muslim issue, and it's been focused on, it's been racialized, and it's been made as if it's something inherently wrong with Asian culture, Pakistan culture or Muslim culture. And that's what I fundamentally object to.
People actually contributed, and it was very interactive, which was the best part of it. And the different agencies had not known about each other's work.
There are many, many stories. My project has worked with thousands of children in very similar circumstances. So I'm hoping that what will come out of today is that we learn how to work together and how to really support each other in this work, which is so difficult, so emotionally draining and very upsetting for everybody involved. But we've got to keep at the centre of it these children who need to be kept safe, and to understand that they are not doing anything wrong, they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So I was very, very interested to come today and hear about the work, the good work that a lot of different people are doing.
Well, one of the key things that I'm hoping is going to be really progressed is the way that the police gather intelligence.
Much more effort to work off the kind of intelligence and information that the other speaker talked about, to go and target people who are committing offences against children. And quite frankly, in the same way that we do with other criminality, if we can't actually convict them for those offences because they're quite difficult, we will look at any other opportunity to get some sort of control over people and prevent them from harming other children.
And so the interim guidelines on prosecuting child sexual abuse was launched by the DPP on the 11th of this month, and that's talking about specialised prosecutors, like we heard from Nazir there. It's about talking about cases being considered on the merit of the case, not on how good the victim is. Again, sexual offending is unique because unlike almost any other crime, almost the whole responsibility for getting it through the court rests on the shoulders of the victim.
When it comes to what we've now commonly called group grooming or networks of groomers, regrettably Asian men and Muslim men are disproportionately engaged in that criminal activity. Now that's an issue for us. Those who are already involved in this activity, it really does beg a belief, does it not? You know, a 59-year-old man driving around a 14-year-old girl in his cab all day, every day, you might want to ask yourself a question as to what's happening. Somebody somewhere knew, somebody felt they didn't want to tell, they didn't want to talk, it's none of my business. Let me make this very clear, it's all our business. And you can be absolutely assured that we as prosecutors will do what we can to keep people safe and to keep our communities safe. Thank you.
I was greatly impressed at the high number of high-profile speakers that you had invited, and I think the message came out very, very clear. I really even enjoyed the presentation by our brother Alyas about street.
One of the critical things is family support. We found that working with mothers opens a floodgate of people, of families who are at crisis, who are crying out for help. And when you connect with those networks, mums are so in tune with what's going on with their kids. They call us out, they say, my son's in a gang, my daughter, she's disappearing and different times, I need help. But there's only certain individuals, credible individuals, who feel comfortable in that particular space. That's not everyone's cup of tea, I've got to say. Only certain individuals can really. And we've got to engage the gangs in their particular space. So a bit of hope is this. We can stop CSE in every community in the country. And it's really about putting that investment, I hope, in those projects and initiatives which are doing that street-based work. Thank you very much.
So that's the ultimate message. Let's safeguard our children, let's work together, let's make sure we get a clear message out there, and let's put our resources where it should be. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Abdul Karim.
So, lessons. We had lessons learned by the Crown Prosecution Service, we had lessons learned by the police, we had lessons learned by social services, and we had lessons learned by all the kinds of communities that are involved in all of this. But the key point that we come back to is that looking at race and ethnicity and culture is a red area. What we need to look at is the causes, the contexts, those who are vulnerable and those who are perpetrated. things. And we need to act on each of these things.
How you feel the conference has gone? And
oh, alhamdulillah, the conference went very well. I would say it was very successful with the diversity of people present here and the response given. Everyone fed back that the presentations were really excellent, and I'm really pleased that we've kick-started a dialogue and that MCB can inshallah move forward with the issues raised.